Rev up your engines! Today I'm going to talk about good trends in modern cars. Now the first modern trend that I really like is the use of timing chains now instead of these rubber timing belts. And I'll give a little history for that. Originally, your crankshaft was connected to your camshaft that opens the valves using just gears, timing gears. Strong, reliable, lasted almost forever. But it cost a lot of money to make all these gears that laced in, right? So then they went to gears that had timing chains connecting them. It's a little bit cheaper making them that way, but it's still pretty strong. These are strong steel chains. But alas, then things got even cheaper. They started to replace the timing chains with these rubber timing belts that have cogs. Much cheaper to make them that way, but these are rubber belts. They're going to wear out a lot faster than a metal chain. Now this 2002 Lexus has a timing belt. It's a V6 engine, and changing that timing belt is a very expensive procedure. But at least in this case, it's a non-interference engine. So if that rubber belt breaks, the pistons don't hit the valves and there's no damage done. But some companies like Nissan made most of their vehicles with interference engines and a rubber timing belt. When it broke, pistons hit the valve, broke the inside of the engine. Goodbye engine in most cases. And that's why I like the modern trend of going back to timing chains. This is an 07 Toyota Matrix, and it has a timing chain inside it instead of one of those rubber belts. The chain is hidden inside the engine. It's lubricated by the motor oil. As long as you change your oil and the vehicle's made correctly, those chains can last hundreds of thousands of miles. Now the next modern trend that I think is good is the better and better gas mileage that modern engines are getting. Here's my 94 Toyota Celica. It's got a 1.8 four-cylinder engine. But here's a 2007 Toyota Matrix. It also has a 1.8 liter four-cylinder engine, but guess what? It gets 14 miles a gallon better gas mileage than the Celica does. With modern computer-controlled ignition and fuel injection systems, hey, the vehicles just are more efficient at burning gasoline. And guess what? They do that on regular pump gas. You don't need the premium gas. They run perfectly fine on the cheapest gas that you can buy. You're not wasting money on high-test gas. Now the next good trend in modern cars has to do with the exhaust systems. This 07 Matrix has the entire exhaust system that's still original. Never leaked, nothing's ever been changed. Now when I was a young mechanic, we used to change out mufflers and exhaust pipes all the time. They'd rot and leak and you had to replace them. But the modern designs are better made. They're not made out of plain steel like they were when I was young. They have aluminumized ones, stainless steel parts, and all that lets these exhaust systems last a really long time. Which is great for you because you don't have to buy anything. But not so great for those muffler shops. If you notice, a lot of the muffler shops now, they do tune-ups and they do all kinds of other work because they really can't make a living doing exhaust alone because the parts are so well made, they don't wear out like they used to. I used to have cars that over a 10-year period, I might have gone through 3 or 4 mufflers. Not anymore. Now the next modern trend that I like, better painting. Cars are being painted by machines now, and they do an almost perfect job. Looking at this Lexus, you'd never think that the thing is 17 years old, but the paint holds up so well because of the way they paint them. At least when the vehicles are new, because if you ever notice, if you get in a wreck and have your car repainted, the paint hardly ever matches perfectly and never lasts as long as the original paint. Because guess what? The original paint was done by robots, and they do it in a really good sealed environment where the humidity and the temperature is carefully controlled. So if you want your car to stay looking great, stay away from wrecks, because odds are the car will never look the same unless the entire car was repainted in a really well sealed environment, which I don't see that much of anymore. Every time I get a customer, have a car get in a wreck and they bring it back, I look at it in the sun and I can tell, okay, this part was painted, this part doesn't match perfectly, and then often a few years later, they start to fade all over the place, unlike the original one done by robots. And the next modern trend that I think is fantastic, the anti-rusting capabilities that modern cars have. When modern cars are built, they often make the paint that they're soaked into in the beginning, the frame and the body, be electrically charged, and the body is the opposite electrical charge. So this anti-rust paint, usually rich in zinc, zaps right onto the metal and keeps it from rusting. My mother still lives in Buffalo. She's got a Toyota Corolla. It's the only car she ever had that didn't rust out. Yeah, it's 15 years old, but there's still no rust on the thing. They learned how to seal the rust out when they build the cars. Heck, when I was a kid, we had a 53 Ford, and we used to pretend we were playing hockey in the back seat because there were so many holes, the floorboards would fill up with water and freeze. But eventually that rotted through, and you could see the road go by when you looked under your feet. So, cars have gone a long way since then. And the last modern trend in modern cars that I like is the improvement of tires. Since I was a young mechanic, tires have gotten better and better. Not only do they last longer, but they grip better. They've computer designed treads so that they work best for your driving situation. When I was a kid up north, you had to put snow tires on a car in the winter. You're gonna slide all over the place. But now they got all season tires that you can just leave on all year. Heck, my mother lives in Buffalo. She got a 15-year-old Toyota Corolla with all season tires. She's 91 years old and she still drives her car around there and doesn't have to put snow tires on in the winter. And the tires themselves are better made if you buy quality tires. That's a caveat there. You go out and buy, say, the cheapest Chinese-made tires you can get. They're not gonna last that long. You're gonna get flats as the nails go through them. I've seen that with customers over the last decade over and over again. But if you buy quality tires, hey, I can't remember the last time I got a flat in any of my tires because I buy quality tires, steel belted radials, and unless you're driving an area where there's a zillion nails all over the place, you may never see a flat tire again, which is a far cry from when I was a young mechanic and tires had tubes inside and they were always going flat and a royal pain to fix because you had to take them apart. You had to either patch the tube or put a new tube in, find out what made the hole and take it out, then put it all back together again and rebalance the tire. It was a giant pain. Modern tires, hey, they've gone a long way. So now you know some of the good modern trends in cars, so you don't have to be depressed from my previous video telling you all the bad things that have been happening. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.